Hey kids! I am joining you from my playground outside to talk to you about weather. So weather is happening right now. There's a lot of wind happening. You might see my hair blowing everywhere because it's so windy. Also, you can see weather in the sky because there's clouds and there's some sun shining. So we have talked about weather all week, and so today we're going to read a book about weather, and then at the end we are going to fill out a paper talking about weather. So we're going to fill out this paper today at the end after I read the story. Okay? All right. So our story today is called Weather because we're learning about weather. I want you thinking about the different types of weather that you see in this story. Weather is in the air. Sometimes the weather is hot. Sometimes the weather is cold. Who is dressed for hot weather? Who is dressed for cold weather? Can you point to the kid that is dressed for cold weather? This one. Can you point to the kid that's dressed for warm weather? This one. Sometimes the weather is wet. Sometimes the weather is dry. Who is ready for wet weather? Who is ready for dry weather? Can you point to the kid that is ready for wet weather? These kids are dressed for wet weather. Can you see their rain boots and their rain jackets? Who's dressed for dry weather? These kids. Can you guess what Mrs. K is dressed for today? Dry weather, right? It's not raining right now. Thank goodness. It's just, it is just windy is all it is. Sometimes the weather is windy. Sometimes the weather is calm. Factories make steam. Which factory shows a windy day? Which factory shows a calm day? Okay, so these are both the same factory, and see the steam coming out? Can you tell which one shows windy? This one shows windy. Do you see how it's kind of blowing to the side? Do you think that that could show us wind direction? We've been talking about wind direction, and we could tell wind direction from which way the steam is blowing. That's pretty cool. People use tools to measure weather. Hot and cold weather can be measured with a thermometer. Wet weather can be measured with a rain gauge. Wind direction can be measured with a wind sock. Trees are in the weather all the time. Trees live in hot and cold weather. Trees stay calm or they move in the wind. What kind of weather is happening here? In this picture, what kind of weather do you think is happening? I think that it's really windy. Want to know how I know it's windy? It's because the leaves are blowing to the side, and that can show us wind direction. And do you see all of the leaves on the ground? It is really windy. I wonder if in this story there's a hurricane happening. Sorry. So we just talked about some different tools that help us measure weather. Can you guys tell me a type of tool that measures weather? So this wind sock is a tool that measures weather. This thermometer is a tool. This rain gauge is a tool. We have lots of tools that will measure weather. Ooh, sorry, it's so windy. My camera's even blowing all over the place. Woo! Oh my goodness. Scientists use tools. Scientists use tools to measure the weather. They tell us what the weather is today. They can forecast what the weather might be tomorrow. So forecast means they can kind of guess what the weather will be like. They don't ever know completely for sure, but they can kind of guess. A weather forecast can help us prepare for a rainstorm. We might decide to stay indoors. We might plan to go out wearing a rain boot and boots. So if the weather was raining right now, do you think I would want to do this video outside? No. So it's helpful to watch the weather to know what's happening. A forecast can help us prepare for a snowstorm. Can you expect this kind of weather where you live? Do we have snowstorms like this? We do. Weather is in the air. You feel and see the weather every day. So go outside. Enjoy the weather. It might change tomorrow. Especially in spring, huh? The weather's always changing. This story has lots of stories inside of it, and we just got to read the weather one. That's really cool, huh? Okay, so, oh my goodness. This is kind of tricky to do it outside in the weather, huh? Okay, so you guys have a paper that looks like this. It's in your green science packet, and it's called a web. So what we're going to do with this web is in the middle, you are going to write the word weather. I'm writing it on my paper really quick. So I just wrote the word weather on my paper. And I noticed that these lines weren't very dark, so I made them a little bit darker. Okay, around here, you're going to write different types of weather. So a type of weather would be rain. So I'm going to write rain. I want you to do your best job sounding out the word rain. I know words are tricky sometimes, but sound it the way that write it the way that you hear it. You could also draw a picture. So rain, you could draw little raindrops. Just drawing some raindrops on my paper really quick. See my raindrops? Okay, in every bubble, you're going to write another, sorry, just a second. My book is flying all over the place. Oh, my goodness. This video is kind of crazy, huh? Okay, so I wrote about a weather type, which was rain. You're also going to write other types of weather over in these bubbles. You could also write off to the side some other things that you know about it. So what's some things that you know about rain? I know that rain is wet, and I know that it can be cold when it rains. I also know that it can be hot when it rains. So I'm writing on my paper some other things that I know about rain. So do you see how I wrote rain and then I drew a line to say some other parts that I know about rain? I want you to do that with all of these, all right? So your parents might have to help you. Your parents have done a web like this before. I know my class, you guys haven't done a web like that before. This is your first time. So I bet your parents can help you. And parents, I'm going to post a picture, since my book just blew all over the place. I'm going to post a picture of what the webs can look like later, and to give you some ideas of what we're looking for. All right. Okay, friends, I hope you had fun in the weather with me, and I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.